president at bottom of the 420th inning. So there's a crack in the bat. It's hit. He's running. He's rounding first. He's rounding second, completely ignoring third base. Oh, he's sliding head first into 69th base with Doug Mellard.
What up? Welcome to 69th Base. I'm Doug Mellard. This is the podcast where I shit all over Skip Bayless. Not in a sexual way. That's gross and weird. Why would I even say that? I didn't need to say that. Everybody understood what I meant. Anyway, this week, my buddy Mikey Ayers is back on. We had an adventure at a Rams game, and we'll get into that a little bit. And we're also going to talk about Dak Prescott. Is he back to being shitty, or is he the greatest quarterback of all time? Case Keenum versus Kirk Cousins. Will Kane in a weird analogy about the Cleveland Browns. God, he's bad at analogies. And I also had a strange epiphany I want to get into. We're also going to talk about some Amazon reviews from Skip Bayless's wife's book that's out. We'll drop a new rumor about Skip Bayless and much more. You guys get ready. Guys, last weekend, I talked about it on the podcast, but I went camping and I stayed in this cabin, this like ancient cabin, you know. And the first night we got there, we were warned that there's a mountain lion that had just been spotted in our area, like right in our area. So that was a little nerve-wracking. And when you had to do your business, you had to do it outside. And if you had to shit, you had to shit in this outhouse. And there was this weird fear that, like, I thought about it as I took a shit in the middle of the night. I was like, man, what if I opened the door and was just attacked by this mountain lion and then fell backwards into the outhouse? Like, how horrible would that be? Like, that's the way I would die, you know? And then I told my dad about all that, and then he told me a story about when he was a kid. His uncle took a shit one time in an outhouse, and he got stung on his balls by a black widow. And I was thinking about both those things, being attacked by a mountain lion and dying in a porta potty, and also having your balls stung by a black widow while on a porta potty. And I still think both of those things would be more enjoyable than listening to Skip Bayless talk for 30 seconds. That's how much I hate Skip Bayless and all these clowns. Let's get into it. This week, let's welcome to the microphone. Sometimes he's just behind the scenes. And I'm like, don't fucking talk.
He just gets so mad at me.
God damn it. I didn't bring you in yet.
I'm sorry.
Everybody, it's Mikey Ayers. Say hello.
Hello, guys.
I always act like people are actually going to clap. I don't know why I do that.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting them to. I was a little disappointed when they didn't.
Yeah. Clap, dog.
Yeah, can we get like a keyboard? You can just press a button and we'll get like some sound effects on.
I mean, yeah, that's your job, dude.
Yeah.
Your job that I'm not paying me for.
Haven't really
right
given
now.
me much of budget to get a keyboard, I guess. But I want to start by saying your story you said this week kind of reminds me of the. First off, I'd love to see you open the door of an outhouse just to a mountain lion snarling at you.
Man, I thought about it. Seriously, every time I left the outhouse, I was like, here, it's going to be right there.
It kind of reminds me of the beginning of Naked Gun, where like O.J. Simpson like is trying to arrest those guys, and he like gets his foot caught in a bear trap, and then he like goes on the wet paint. Just a series of unfortunate events, you know?
Yeah, that's and I have shitty luck, so
yeah.
I
Speaking
kind
of shitty,
half expected it.
Also, a second note to begin this podcast on: you have to stop shitting on your poster of Skip Bayless at the beginning of each episode.
Oh yeah, no, I think that's for good luck, you know.
The audience can't
Sets the
see
tone.
it, so
yeah, but it's still I shit on a picture of Skip Bayless right before we start.
I can smell it.
It's just the way to kick it off. So you and I went to last minute. You texted me, got an extra Rams ticket, but you had the subtext of like, but it's the Buccaneers, and but you know I'm excited. I like all NFLs, and the Rams are exciting to watch.
Yeah,
so I was down.
That's what people say, at least.
Yeah. Not this week, but it's funny. We went first of all. We got there and we had these great seats. But we were baking in the sun, so the first half was just so fucking I was planning on drinking at the game, but
So
I had
was I.
like most of one beer and then got so sick.
I had some big drinking plans, but we were just in direct sunlight. I mean, I still had like 4 24-ounce beers, but that wasn't big enough. But yeah, we were just in unfiltered, direct sunlight. I have felt sunsick all day. I've just literally laid in bed all morning.
Yeah, it was brutal, man. And so we moved to the other side of the stadium for the second half, and it was much more enjoyable. But I feel like we were all in a daze at that point, you know?
Yeah.
And then let's just be honest and be idiots and tell the podcast audience what we did that was so stupid.
We were there until the end of the game. No, we got bored. The Rams didn't seem like they were going to come back, so we left kind of early.
Well, it wasn't bored. Like, it was still fun.
Wait,
but we
that's
just thought,
the dumb thing we did, right?
Yeah, we thought
Okay.
they put it away. They were up like 45-27, and it just felt like a loop where it was like they would come back, score a touchdown, but then the Bucks would go right back down and score again.
Yeah, they'd pick Jared Goff off or get a field goal.
Jared Goff. It felt like he had 60 interceptions and 14 fumbles. We left early, and I mean the main thing was to like avoid traffic because it was such a nightmare getting in there, trying to get out and be. But as soon as we got in the car, or like as soon as we got like 100 yards from the stadium, we heard the crowd go nuts. And then it felt like 30 seconds later, the crowd went nuts again.
Yeah,
And then we look at the score, it was 45-40 within like 2 minutes of being gone.
Yeah, I heard the announcers just scream Cooper Kupp's name. I haven't seen the highlights yet, but I guess he caught a touchdown. Destroyed me.
Yeah,
in
and
my
I think there was an
fantasy league.
interception or fumble return or some shit. But anyway, we were really stupid. But they ended up losing in the end. So I would have been furious, and then we would have been stuck in traffic for fucking 10 hours. So
Yeah.
in the end, still happy. I fucking hate dealing with it. That is a thing. Like, I love watching it live, but sometimes you're just like, is the traffic part of it really worth it? And, like...
Pretty much any like large congregation of people, that is like what I'm thinking about pretty much from the go. I'm like, how do I get out of here when I need to get out of here?
Yeah, and I also wore a Dallas Cowboys hat, and I thought within seconds of being there I was going to be murdered. But
Yeah, as soon as you got there, this guy walked up to Doug and was like, "You're the smartest guy here." And I wasn't sure if he was being sarcastic, if he was like, "You're calling you an idiot."
yeah,
or
I thought he maybe was a Cowboys fan, or he was saying you're going to get killed.
Yeah.
But that was fine. But yeah, it was a little...
Can I...
Just-
Sorry, go ahead.
No. Just like the fourth quarter of games, people are so wasted that you kind of half expect that you're going to get in a fight or you're going to see a fight.
That's how I wanted to be.
Yeah.
But I was just about to have a stroke. Can we talk about the Rams for a second and like just how different they are this season versus last season?
My theory is that Sean McVay is the coach from Waterboy, where he got out-coached in the Super Bowl, and now he's just in his head. Bill Belichick's just living in his mind.
Oh yeah, I
and
think
now he's just fucked.
Yeah, I think maybe Bill Belichick just like exposed all their weaknesses, and like now other teams are like, oh, the Rams ain't shit because Bill Belichick just showed us the book on how to stop them on offense.
Maybe, but it just looks like they're not doing.
I guess Jared Goff did
Jared
throw
Goff's also
stupid
having a terrible season.
picks. Yeah, you can't fight that.
Before we get too deep into sports shit, I'm gonna tell you a story. I don't think I've ever told you this before. So when I was a kid, I had this. I worked at a pharmacy that also developed photographs.
Phonographs.
Back in the olden times, real photographs that you could touch, not in your phone. And at one point,
Never heard of him.
this douchebag came in and he looked through his photos. You could look through your photos and take out photos you didn't want, and they wouldn't charge them or whatever. And so he looked through them, but he left the sleeve behind, and he takes off. And I realized, like, he's just stolen these photos. I don't give a fuck about this job. Like, I would fuck off so much at that place. Like, I had a joke about it in one of my albums. I mean, I caused so much trouble there. Like, it was so fun in a weird way.
Sounds like you threw away a real career.
Yeah. But once I realized that he's stolen these photos, I don't know what it was about this guy. I just did not like him, and I think it was just that he felt so entitled about it. He just had a douchey fucking air about him. So I ran up to his car, And again, I don't care if the company loses money on this at all. I just did not like this guy. And I stick my head into the passenger side, like shotgun seat. And I'm like, hey, man, are you going to pay for those photos? And this guy's bigger than me. Like, there's no reason for me to do any of it. It's not smart, none of it. And the guy's just like, fuck you, man. And I'm like, dude, fuck you. And we kind of go back and forth. And my arms are like in his car. My head is kind of halfway in his car. And we're yelling at each other. And then he just starts driving. But I'm still like halfway in his car. And I just hold on. And he fucking speeds into the street. This is in Austin, Texas. And he takes me out into the street. And I'm just basically like running alongside with my arms in the fucking car. And he just thinks I'm crazy, and he's like kind of getting nervous because I'm like relentless.
Because you're like Jason Bourne at this point,
or
holding onto
like
his fucking car window.
Robert Patrick in Terminator 2, and so he speeds through the next light. Like there's a light, we stop, we're yelling at each other more, but I hold on, and then he speeds off so that I fucking do this tumble roll, and this dude comes up in a yellow Mercedes. I'll never forget it. And he goes, get in. And it was just like a fucking movie. And I get in his car and I was like, follow that fucking douchebag. It was like this weird high-speed chase to get these photographs that I didn't give a fuck about. And I ended up losing him at a light. And like the guy, I tell him what happened. And the guy's like, that guy had to have thought I was crazy, but it was an adventure for both of us. And like, he probably, I wonder what his side of the story was. Like, yeah, I picked up this fucking pharmacy employee and he's all fucking furious. Man, they do security there. Like,
as soon as you
hardcore.
told the driver, like, yeah, he stole a photo, I'm sure the driver's like, what? I'm gonna get a speeding ticket for
he's
this
like,
shit.
What kind of photos? This is like conspiracy theory.
Yeah,
You're
like
exposing
satellite
some
images?
Yeah. No, it's just some frat guy that has these whatever.
Some tits. Photos of tits.
And so, the guy drives me back to work. I get out. I'm fucking defeated. This guy has won. It was like a weird pride thing. I have a lot of stories that are all about my pride, but it's really the opposite. Like I'm doing more damage to myself than
You're trying to prove something to yourself every time.
And I get back there and I realize he'd forgotten the sleeve, which has all of his information. So I have his address, his phone number, everything, his name. So on my fucking lunch break, this is like a night shift. So like on my dinner break or whatever, I realize it's not that far. I fucking drive to his house and like I'm like outside his house, but he has like 10 or 12 people over and they're all pretty big. And I'm just like, I'm going to fuck this guy up.
I pull out my SKS machine gun.
Yeah, it doesn't get that
and
dark.
Kill them all.
Well, actually, no, I remember hanging out and thinking, all right, man, I'm going to take this guy. I'm going to beat this guy's ass. And then I realized like, I can't fight all these guys. And also, what am I doing? And I like still had my name tag on. Like, what the fuck am I doing? And I went back and like I felt like such a, I don't know.
It's Doug from Hamlin Pharmacy, motherfucker. I found you.
Can you imagine his surprise if I just walked in his fucking living room and we just said that? Like, good
just
God.
5'8" tall Doug Mellard here to whoop your ass for stealing some photos.
Have you ever gone above and beyond for a job you didn't care like that?
No. I mean, I worked at a Jason's Deli for a while, and I got a few of my friends to quit with me. I feel like that was as above and beyond as I've gone.
Like Jerry Maguire cut it?
It wasn't that dramatic. It was like, actually, when I worked at this place, I like, it was my second job. I was 16. I had like some really ambitious goals. I thought I was going to be making sandwiches at Jason's Deli, but I guess I just didn't have the look. My beard hadn't grown in. I wasn't handsome enough, so they put me in back washing dishes. I go back there. I held this job for about 6 days. The guy that was washing dishes with me, I still have nightmares about this guy. He was about 450 pounds, and literally he would eat all the food, leftover food, off of the plates that would come back in the dishwashing area.
Oh Jesus!
And he would literally like finger scoop broccoli and cheese soup into his mouth. It was like half eaten.
God damn it!
And then he'd like always offer it to me, like, "You want some of this shit? It's good."
Oh God!
So
yes.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, eventually I was like, I told my friends about that. I was like, we got to get out of here. It was like the rush hour at Jason's Deli on a Friday. And me and 4 of my friends that worked on the line making sandwiches all walked out, and I'm pretty sure we shut Jason's Deli down that day, or at least made every other employee there have a terrible day.
Nice work, man.
So I don't know. I guess that just makes me a bad employee. Yeah, I can't say anyone stole a sandwich and I chased him down.
Speaking of bad employees, let's get to it. Skip Bayless, worst employee of all time. Man, again, it's really hard to try to find takes of his that are different. And once again, we're back at Dak Prescott. But
amen, brother.
very predictably, Skip and Will Kane both said it's not Dak's fault that the Cowboys lost. And Skip even gave up on the game last week before the game even started. And I honestly was a little nervous going into it because I felt like we played 3 fluff teams, and here we are playing our best team. But the fact that we lost to this team, and New Orleans is hard at home, but they didn't have Drew Brees.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a good sign for us.
What was the final? I'm pulling up the stats right now.
I think 12-10. It was a shit game.
Like Zeke put up 1 touchdown and 35 yards.
Yeah, Zeke still had the only touchdown. I just feel like Dak's gotta. You're
fumbled
the fucking
too, though.
quarterback. Yeah, you're the quarterback. You gotta fucking put this thing away.
Yeah.
And and his numbers too. What was his yardage total there? Was it like 170 or something like that?
Oh, he had 223 in the air.
Oh, 223.
And he had 7 rushing yards.
223 is not the worst for Dak. It's usually under. For a while there, it felt like he had so many games under 200.
I mean, he had a 73.2 rating.
That's not the worst rating.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
not the best
either way, it's like this is their first challenge, and like a fucking course they're gonna lose. It's like this is the first actual team that has a defense that they've played, right?
Yeah. That's what scares me. Is like the other 3 teams that the Cowboys have played were all like bottom, like literally the 32nd ranked defense. I think the 31st too, and then also like way down
And
there.
the Saints are like a 18th ranked defense. They're not even good.
Oh
really.
god damn it! I don't know where they were at, but
I think they're like 16, 18, something like that.
but I'm just so tired of like they both immediately threw Ezekiel Elliott under the bus, and I feel like Ezekiel Elliott has definitely had more monster games than Dak has. Because Dak has had 3 good games this year, isn't equivalent to Zeke's consistently always great. The only time he doesn't have a good game is when they zero in on him and shut him down, and they're like, "Hey, Dak, you beat us," and Dak doesn't. I guess blurring into the next subject, Skip last week said that Dak has been on the same level this year as Patrick Mahomes, but with better results, which is fucking mind-blowing. And my whole thing is like, yeah, Dak is without Michael Gallup right now. Tyron Smith went down in the Saints game. But Patrick Mahomes is without his left tackle, his best wide receiver.
Not to mention like his running back, who they had to trade away last season.
Yeah, they don't have like they have okay running backs, like decent to good-ish. But my whole point with Dak is that he has to have everything around him, and I want a quarterback where you don't worry if multiple injuries are on your team. You're like, oh, this guy's got it, which is what fucking Patrick Mahomes does. As much shit as like the Chargers have been through in the last like I don't know 2 decades with Phillip Rivers, he still always has them like at least competitive.
Yeah.
And like it feels like 90% of the team is injured every year, and Phillip Rivers is like, all right, I'm still gonna do this
I'm
shit.
still gonna put up 5,000 passing yards.
Yeah, every fucking year, and like Dak can't fucking do that, and so like Skip and Will Kane like throw everybody else under the bus, but look at fucking Mahomes like, and so like Skip this week. After this last game, was shitting all over Mahomes' like worst game. He still had like 300 something yards. I don't think he had any touchdowns, which was like crazy. But I heard a stat that Patrick Mahomes has never scored under 26 points.
See, I feel like Patrick Mahomes is the kind of player that's so good that he makes other members of his offense into superstars.
Oh yeah,
it's like right away. It's like he's a playmaker.
Well, yeah, like this year Tyreek Hill's out, and the first week Sammy Watkins went nuts. They've got like McCole Hardman or whatever that guy's name is. Like he's been going.
Yeah,
he
LaShawn
just-
McCoy's 55 years old, and he's having a decent season.
And I mean that's partially Andy Reid too. And the Cowboys definitely have Jason Garrett, which is definitely a handicap. But still, you want a fucking quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees. I think Brees is kind of on the slide a little bit maybe, but you want a quarterback that's just can take over and you don't have to like sweat it. And
Can you just imagine just like the load that Andy Reid unleashed when he realized what he had in Patrick Mahomes?
Oh my God.
He's like,
no shit.
Fuck, this is going to make my career.
I was looking back through that draft too and seeing all the teams that passed.
Yeah, he was
And-
he was
10th.
10th.
Yeah. And it wasn't just like the Bears. There were several, and a lot of those teams ahead of them weren't needing a quarterback, but there were teams that could have traded up. But on top, I think the Jets were in there, and I was looking at their quarterbacks that year, and it was like Josh McCown and 3 other guys just like Josh McCown.
Yeah.
Geno Smith, I think still.
they probably just kicked out Geno. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I looked up who the Browns had, and the Browns that year also had Josh McCown. Like it was, oh God.
It's just this like destructive cycle of quarterback play.
And I mean, I guess we'll see how Darnold turns out, but nobody's playing like fucking Patrick Mahomes.
Has Skip did Skip just say that because Patrick Mahomes actually didn't have a passing touchdown this week? He's like, he didn't have a passing touchdown. I guess he's not that good.
He just wants to fucking rip him down. He just doesn't like Patrick Mahomes because of his no-look passes. But what's crazy is he ripped him down for his game, but Dak and Patrick both had almost the exact same QBR this week.
Yeah.
So, and Patrick Mahomes won the game.
Yeah.
So, fuck off, man. Like, he's just better. Fucking deal with it. It's fine.
They beat Detroit. I actually would have kind of liked to see Detroit win. I'm kind of pulling for Detroit this season.
Yeah, I get that. I like underdogs, and I have a good friend that's a big Lions fan, and I will forever love Barry Sanders more than just about every player ever.
Mm-hmm.
He was like the most exciting player to watch. But I don't know if I like or hate Matt Patricia or whatever. By the way, it's a real funny coach name, Coach Patricia. It's just weird to say.
Coach Patty.
Coach Patty Cakes. Come here with your pencil behind
I'm
your
sure
ear.
him and Matt Stafford just patty cake and dip skull apple all day.
I like watching Patrick Mahomes so much though that like I can't really root against.
Well, it's
him
like
too
you
much.
remember that Rams Chiefs game last season? Just how fucking insanely exciting that. I remember I was on a plane in the middle seat of a 3-row seating. And watching it on my cell phone, I'd like paid $20 for like an hour of airplane Wi-Fi or whatever it costs. And like, not only were the 2 people next to me like eagerly watching the game, but the 3 people behind me
oh my God,
were also leaning over the seat, and like all of us were cheering on this plane to the point where like the flight attendant had to walk over and be like, "Will y'all shut the fuck up, please? It is a red-eye flight."
Yeah, I was watching that. It's weird. That game was so exciting. I know exactly where I was. I was at a Pinballs in Austin, which is like an barcade thing, and like we were gonna play games, but there's no way you could get away from the TV because there's a touchdown every 3 seconds.
It's strange. Like I just realized how vivid, how clear that memory is in my head. Like I remember the people's faces around me watching the game. It's strange.
But it's crazy. Like Patrick Mahomes keeps going. Jared Goff went the other direction.
Yeah. I think the only game I remember that clearly has to be the Vince Young Rose Bowl.
Oh man, I remember that. That was so fucking sweet. Man, one of my favorite dumbest things Skip Bayless has argued in a while. This was last week, and great timing by Skip. I guess the main point of the podcast really is to hold Skip accountable for shit like this. And again, last week he said, out of nowhere, I don't know why this was a fucking subject. He was saying that Case Keenum is better than Kirk Cousins, and I think that's because the Cowboys had just played the Redskins, so he was still building up, like hedging his bets, like he always does.
Yeah.
And but why? Like, those are 2 names that are just not hot right now. That's not gonna be good for ratings. Like, what? Who gives a fuck about either of those guys right now? Yeah, like Cousins is playing like shit. Keenum is playing like shit. Case Keenum has been on 14 teams in 2 seasons, it feels like. And he also, of course, right after this happened, was yanked and replaced for Dwayne Haskins. and he went 6 of 11 for 37 yards and an interception. Which
just one interception?
yeah, just one. Well, he only was in there for
Good for him. What a performance.
Good guy. He's played like shit, and like I don't know why he's still beating that drum.
It's like,
Case Keenum, man.
Honestly, it's like I've always been a Case Keenum fan because I'm from South Texas. He played at University of Houston.
Oh no, I get it. I want him to succeed just for that reason.
He just crushed it at University of Houston, but like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah. But I seriously think it's just because he still wanted to prop up. No, the Cowboys haven't played bad teams. Case Keenum is one of the best quarterbacks of all time.
He's a Hall of Famer.
And then here he is just having the worst fucking game. He gets yanked. Dwayne Haskins didn't look great, by the way, either.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
But Jesus Christ, man, just chill the fuck. You look fucking ridiculous, you man-child. Moving on to another dumb Will Kane analogy. He made that weird CNN analogy a little while back, a week or two ago. Last week, he said, this is before the Browns win, yesterday, or 2 days ago, once the podcast drops. He said the Browns are... they're a big cast movie with no director, and that's why they haven't been playing up to speed. And he compared that to the movie Valentine's Day.
Relevant.
Will Kane, yeah. Will Kane said the Browns are the movie Valentine's Day, which
shows you how good his tastes are in movies.
Yeah, like I guess he saw that, which I don't know anyone that has seen that movie, but it's...
Well, that was like who's it? Julia Roberts?
I don't fucking know.
Jessica Biel.
I just know
Topher Grace.
I know of it. Yeah,
I'm just
probably
throwing,
all of them. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
but like no, like he's really bad at always throwing out things that no one's gonna fucking get the reference. The other analogy that I was alluding to, I think it was last week in the show. He was talking about the show Red Eye that was in the middle of the night on fucking Fox News, and it's like, dude, you're just. What are you fucking even talking about? Like, and he's going on these deep rants where he's trying to be real smart, and it's like nobody knows what you're talking about right now.
I've heard him drop a few Kato references from the Green Hornet, and I'm like, dude, like nobody that's listening to you is watching the Green Hornet anymore. I'm 30 years old, and the fact that I know what the fucking Green Hornet is a fucking miracle.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, I wonder what bands he listens to. Good God. It's probably like bands like Silverchair and stuff for the 90s. Like not.
He seems like kind of like a Dave Matthews Band kind of guy.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I just thought like you could use other examples other than, Valentine's Day. Like a more recent one, Suicide Squad. We were talking about that. Like it, and not that like that cast is like I guess there's some big people in that. Ben Affleck and
Margot Robbie and
yeah. Will Smith.
Will Smith.
Yes, yeah, Will Smith.
Will Kane. Yeah,
Will Kane's in Suicide Squad. But yeah, I mean, there's got to be something better than fucking Valentine's Day. You fucking nerd. By the way, have you seen his promo picture for his show?
No, I actually have no idea what he looks like. I used to listen to him on Sirius XM radio.
He's covered head to toe in denim. He looks like Jay Leno's prodigy. It's
what
real
do they
weird.
call it? Canadian tuxedo?
Yep.
Yeah.
But
I always wished I could rock that look, but
hey, Will Kane, maybe get up to date on your fucking references, man.
And your fucking style choices.
You piece of shit.
Yeah.
Also, he talks nonstop. I feel like he forks it in more these days. The fact that he played water polo.
Well, that's already less cool.
At Pepperdine, yeah. And he recently let it out that he was a walk-on. And I feel like he used that term to make it sound cool.
Isn't it a swim on?
Yeah. You sound like even more of a nerd to be a walk-on on the Pepperdine water polo team. And I guess he even said that like they were on a great team, and I think they won like the championship or whatever the fuck it is.
I don't even know how that game scored.
Yeah, I don't know either. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
Nobody like.
Don't they have like a golden snitch in that or something?
I don't know what that means. That sounds about right. But like he'll use these references when he's talking to like ex-pro football players. Like, yeah, like when I was on my water polo team, and it's like, dude, this is not the same fucking thing.
That's kind of how I feel when I'm talking to women at bars in LA. I'm like, yeah, that one Louis Armstrong song, and they're like, is he a rapper? And I'm like, No, he's not.
He's like Drake?
It's time for me to leave Soho House. What the fuck am I doing here? How did I get into this place?
That I guess he won the championship on his Pepperdine water polo team.
Impressive.
And the team was really good, but he let it slip out of the bag that like he really didn't have anything to do with it. Like he was like a scrub. So I guess he was like the Skip Bayless on his team where he averaged 1.4
Water
points.
polos.
Yeah,
again.
I don't know what you fucking score in that fucking dumb sport. Man, I had a realization this week, an epiphany, if you will, and that is that Skip Bayless, the reason he hates Patrick Mahomes so much, it's not just that he's an old man and he can do things with the football that no one else has done, like no-look passes and whatnot. He's not just the old man, yelling, "Get off my lawn." He also hates Patrick Mahomes because people are saying he could potentially, if he played as long as Brady, and longevity, like if Brady's playing till he's fucking 40, maybe by the time Mahomes is getting up there, he could play till he's 50.
In like 10 years, if you breathe on a quarterback, you'll be suspended.
Yeah. There will also be, those kind of rule changes and stuff. So because he's going to break, like maybe get 6,000 yards and all these things and have the most touchdowns ever and the most yardage, if he were to win a few Super Bowls, he might be thrown into the greatest of all time category, which would dethrone Brady. So I just put it together that Patrick Mahomes is the LeBron James of the NFL for Skip Bayless.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that just makes me fucking love Patrick Mahomes so much more. Like, he's so exciting to watch. I don't know anyone that hates him. I'm sure there are people, but
Well, yeah. I mean, Tom Brady, I think he was easy to hate because not only was he good, but he was outrageously handsome too.
yeah, there's
And
that.
guys are like, fuck that guy. Like,
And he's married to a supermodel.
yeah, even before that, I was like, fuck Tom Brady. He's just making all this fucking money. He's just
And he
looking-
also,
modeling and shit. Patrick Mahomes, he's kind of an awkward guy. He kind of talks like Herbert, Herbert the Frog. Yeah, he has a weird voice. He doesn't look like a corn-fed All-American.
Yeah.
He's a different look, and I like that. Also, the way he plays, like I've just never had that as much fun watching someone play.
Yeah, no, it's nuts. It's something different. But I now just hope that he does break every record. And they kind of talked about this on Skip's show, but let's say he wins 3 Super Bowls and Brady doesn't win another, which Brady will probably win 10
Two
more.
more,
Yeah.
at least, yeah.
But let's say Brady will win 0 more championships and
Unlikely.
Mahomes won 3. But Mahomes broke every record by a bit. That's kind of, maybe could be equivalent. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just excited that Patrick Mahomes is the new guy for me to root for. Because, again, I was never a huge LeBron fan. But because Skip Bayless hates him so much, I'm kind of like, that's my guy right there. Fucking love that guy. Want him to dethrone MJ. So we'll see how this plays out in 30 years or whatever.
Exactly.
Another quick take. Jason Whitlock said that, there's this whole Jalen Ramsey weird snafu with his team where he doesn't want to play for the Jaguars and all that. He was like suddenly sick and then like gonna go watch the birth of his child, which you hear a lot of pro players do that all the time.
Yeah,
Like
he didn't even have a child before this whole incident went down.
No, but that's a common thing. You hear that all the time. But
Yeah. Like James White fucked me this week or last week in fantasy because he had to go see his child be born.
But Jalen Ramsey wanting to be there for his kid, Jason Whitlock got on him. Of all the things you could get on Jalen Ramsey about right now, Jason Whitlock, his big take was, I won't respect him until he marries the woman that's having his baby.
What?
Yeah, right?
What is this? 2012?
I don't know what the fuck that is about. Go fuck yourself. That's none of your fucking business.
That's like the most conservative white thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, from Jason Whitlock.
Yeah.
And it doesn't affect his play. There's so many other things going on where I get it if you're like,
He's
man,
like-
just get with your team, play out your contract, all that shit. But to say that, like, what? And I think Whitlock is like divorced, I think, and like
Sounds like a guy who's had some relationship problems in his
Oh
life.
yeah, for sure. That guy's got some issues.
Well, just what a weird thing to say. It's like, yeah, it's like almost like not liking a player for like wearing an earring or something. You know, it's like I won't like him till he takes out that shit out of his ears.
Yeah, it does sound like. I feel like that's more and more of his takes are, like, man, these whippersnappers and their whatever. And meanwhile, I don't think that guy has a healthy lifestyle at all. Jason Whitlock, like, go fuck yourself, man. You're gonna fucking judge anyone, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
Ah,
But Jalen Ramsey,
yeah.
it's like I'm sure Jalen Ramsey, like I don't blame him for wanting to get out of Jacksonville, but then the legend known as Gardner Minshew came around. I'm sure now Jalen Ramsey's like, fuck, I spoke too soon. Like, you know, how can you not like that guy?
Yeah, why would you not want to play for Gardner?
Yeah.
God, both his names, awesome. All right, the most embarrassing shit from them this week. Skip and Shannon were discussing drinking alcohol. Skip notoriously does not drink. And Shannon said something about like, well, Skip, probably in your younger days, you like kind of alluding to like, he probably drank in his younger days. And Skip said, I didn't have younger days. I thought that was so perfect and kind of summed up exactly how I feel. Like he was born 100-year-old dude.
Yeah. He was born as one of your previous guests at a piece of leather.
yeah. Like, what do you? Of course you weren't. You didn't have younger days.
That's like something like Tom Cruise would say in Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah.
Like, I've been here for 1,000 years.
And
Which
then,
is another niche reference probably many of the audience will not get.
Okay, Valentine's Day guy. No. And then Skip on Antonio Brown going back to school said, this sounds like an attention deficit disorder once again, where he just needs more attention. That is not what attention deficit disorder is.
I'm glad you said that because those were the words about to flow from my mouth. Yeah.
That's not what ADD is.
This guy doesn't have enough attention. He needs to go out of his way to get more. What a fucking idiot.
That's not how that works. That's just made him look really. And I was wondering. I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, was he making a bad joke? Like a joke on.
Sometimes
attention?
his jokes don't land. Like sometimes.
Yeah. all the time. They've never landed.
It's like not only do they not land, but it's like he didn't really think out like the third act of his jokes ever. It's like
yeah.
You know, he just like he has this just stream of consciousness that flows out on camera and doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
I doubt it was a joke though because he's a fucking moron.
Yeah. Well, he did make a bad joke. I think this was today actually. He said that Baltimore defensive coordinator Wink Martindale is more like Stink Martindale.
I mean, how can you not make that joke, right?
Yeah. And he did the thing where he over-explained it, like wink, stink,
Okay.
And just not, like you said, it wasn't landing.
Yeah.
And it was just uncomfortable.
It's
and
not like a joke that takes intellect to grasp.
Yeah,
that
not at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, no, that joke did not work. That's why no one's reacting.
Yeah, it's like such an easy joke that like that's the kind of thing you say when you're pretending to make a dumb joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's also what a fucking guy that had no younger days would say. That's a joke he would make.
Someone who's been a vampire for 800 years.
Yeah. Moving on, we are not doing. I'm gonna cut out the picks. I'm not gonna pick teams anymore. That's boring. Nobody wants
more
to listen.
like dicks, right? Huh?
Huh? No.
Because picks?
No.
Dicks?
Should I stop talking?
You get it?
Huh?
How much airtime can we take up with this stupid fucking joke?
I don't want people to like listen to me like sift through like which team's gonna pick what. The picks are going all right, but it's boring. Nobody wants to fucking listen to that. So instead, I'm gonna replace that with hedged bets of the week, because Skip always hedges his fucking bets, and there's two this week. One, we already touched on it. The Cowboys, before they played the Saints, he already gave up on the game. He said the Cowboys are in trouble Sunday night. Amari Cooper needs an MRI, and I don't think that it's like serious. And he said Gallup is out, and he congratulated Shannon twice, saying you won already before like the game even was played. So once again, worst fan of all time. I was hesitant, but my whole thing is like I'm realistic about it.
Yeah.
But I'm also not saying like, oh, we're gonna go fucking undefeated and Dak Prescott is the best quarterback of all time. Like I'm just like,
Unless we don't, then we're gonna be shit.
yeah, exactly.
I said it either way.
And by the way, they also this week or last week they were talking about Skip was saying they call me Never Flip Skip, and it's like you flipped on the Cowboys this week. You also threw away your Dak Prescott jersey and then picked it out of the garbage. You flip fucking 3 times a week at the very least. Also, the other hedge bet of the week, Skip Bayless on the Patriots. Before they played, he was getting nervous playing Buffalo, and he said they won't have AB, so that's a problem. He said that on Twitter as well, and it's like, but Skip also said he didn't want AB on the team because it would make them worse. So which is it?
Yeah.
Fucking pick a side. Also, N'Keal Harry, a rookie who hasn't played a down yet, is out, so that's going to affect them.
Yeah,
How do we fucking know?
That's
What
trouble.
Yeah. And then he said Buffalo's going to be like they'll probably win, but Buffalo's going to be tough. So that's
Rex Burkhead's going through some emotional problems, so I guess they'll use one of their other 5 running backs. First off, I feel like it's well documented that the Patriots do struggle in Buffalo. They're playing in Buffalo. Even Tom Brady on his weird little Twitter tangents today was like, "Hey guys, it's Buffalo. We always struggled. Let's get it."
Yeah.
Or whatever he fucking says on his like weird TB12 Twitter post these days.
Yeah, but don't build up the fucking Patriots like he's picked them to win the Super Bowl. Like, are they going to win this fucking game or not? You picked them to win. Shut the fuck up. Don't say they're going to win, but nobody wants to fucking hear you hedge your goddamn bets, you piece of crap.
No one wants to hear you talk about butts, Skip.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Fucking pervert.
I want to read now some of Ernestine Bayless, Skip Bayless's wife, released a book.
Love that name.
She released a book, and we found some Amazon reviews, and I'd like to read a couple. Great authentic book. I watch and listen to Skip on Undisputed every morning. He takes me on a roller coaster with all his sports takes. You were the one that pointed this out. These are 100% Skip, right?
So, yeah, I feel like Skip is writing all these reviews and getting his cronies to pitch in to write these reviews. It's it's a weird book, and it has 5 stars with 20 reviews. That's just like I could easily write 20 reviews for myself in 10 minutes.
Guys, I am very excited right about now. Some big news for you. We got an exclusive interview with an ex-assistant of one Mr. Skip Bayless. They stepped forward. They want it to be anonymous. They don't want to say if it's a he or she or any of that stuff. Just they want to come forward. They want to have their voice heard because a lot of fucked up things happen behind the scenes, and we've got it here first. There's too much juice to be dropped in one episode, so we're just going to space it out over a few. So get ready. Here's the first clip from this interview.
What a treat. I'm so glad I'm here for this.
So first of all, I just want to thank you for doing this interview. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem.
I mean, I guess I just have to ask, what was it like working for Skip Bayless?
Well, I can't say that it was easy. In fact, it was the darkest time of my life. I went home every night and cried myself to sleep, and I started doing meth and heroin, any drug you can name, really, just to get my mind off of it. The fact that he abused me sexually.
Wait. Hold on. I expected a lot of weird things, but I did not expect that.
Oh, no, he went there. It was horrible.
Like, what kind of things would he do? And I don't want you to relive this. I don't want you to be sent back to that dark place. But only if you're comfortable with it. Could you please tell us in detail every little thing that happened to you under Skip Bayless sexually?
Well, sometimes he would tie me up in a broom closet while he did his show. He would then sometimes come in and yell, "Fuck me like Tom Brady would."
Whoa, Tom Brady, like he wanted you to fuck him like you were 6-time Super Bowl winner Tom Brady.
Yes, that is correct.
What was that like?
Skip would make me shove 6 replica Super Bowl rings into his asshole until he came, just in and out, constantly, full on fisting both arms, really. I got real deep, and he would make me actually wear a Tom Brady mask.
Again, I am so sorry that you went through that. But I just have to ask, was that the worst thing that you experienced working under Skip Bayless?
I think the worst thing was the fact that I spent 6 years at Yale University only to move to ESPN to be called my little Somali butt pirate. I just worked too hard for that. My mom and dad were both coal miners in Pennsylvania, and that's just not what I thought I deserved in life.
So you've said some horrible things, but what was the absolute worst thing that wait, hold on. What was the absolute worst?
It's very disrespectful.
I'm very sorry, but I had to fart. You have to understand that. I know this
Skip
is a very
farted on me all the time. It's okay. This is just dredging up old memories.
Oh my god! Like in your face, or like how did he do it?
Every time I would, you can't put 6 championship rings up someone's ass without them accidentally losing their bowel control. He would either fart or shart or poop, full on poop on me. So I kind of got used to it.
Wow, you got used to being sharted on?
I really shouldn't even say 6 championship rings, because if Skip ever hears this, he's going to know who I am. Because after the 6th ring, actually, I think I should stop this interview now. This is. I feel like I'm compromising myself.
No. Look. Listen. Just bear with me, please. You're doing a great job, and we're gonna do everything we can to protect you from all that is evil, from Skip Bayless. Like I promise, you are protected.
You have no idea how powerful he is.
Well, with all the farting, I just have to ask: did you ever get pink eye?
At this point, I'm basically made of pink eye.
Jesus, I'm so sorry. This is really, I just thought we were going to talk about bad takes, and maybe like he would yell at you for not getting his coffee right, or, shit like that.
He'd yell at me if I had a ring on improperly.
Wow.
He has a very sensitive asshole, and he really can feel everything that goes in there.
Oh, man. So he knew when you entered his asshole with the replica Super Bowl ring.
He knew when I lost a cubic zirconia off of their 5th Super Bowl ring. He was that sensitive.
Look, I don't want to keep having you relive all of this stuff, so I'm going to try to make it a little bit lighter. Let's just ask about Skip's research methods.
Okay, stop right there.
Yeah.
First off, Skip doesn't do any research. First off, we played a sexual game called Brie Search, where he would put pieces of brie cheese in my asshole, and he would try to find it with his own tongue. I was never a fan of this game, but this is my life under Skip Bayless, and it is also my new nightmare.
Whoa, guys, there it is. You heard it here first. My goodness, I did not expect. Well, I expected some of that, I'll be honest, but that was a lot, though. Good God. Again, thank you to that person. I won't, of course, say their name, but that was much appreciated. It's a very brave thing. And again, we're going to break it up into other podcast episodes, so look forward to that. Moving on. We're going to start a new rumor this week about Skip Bayless. Mikey, what do you think?
Well, as much as I would love to start a rumor about Skip Bayless, I don't actually have a rumor. I have a verifiable fact. My My friend, they record their episodes in L.A.
Yeah.
And my friend the other day saw Skip Bayless literally riding on the freeway, driving his car while wearing a bicycle helmet. I did a
Whoa.
little bit of research. Apparently, he was in a car accident when he was a child, and ever since then, he has been afraid to ride in motor vehicles. So, for some reason, he wears a bicycle helmet, thinking that will save him from any kind of vehicular, error
That
or
makes
accident
sense.
he could get in. Yeah.
Yeah, you heard it here first. You know what I heard? Another verifiable fact. Skip Bayless was, for the younger listeners, Richard Gere was an actor in my heyday where he was in Pretty Woman and a bunch of other big stuff.
Primal Fear.
Yeah, he was a very moderate mediocre actor. And
The Jackal.
yeah, he was in a lot of stuff, but I never understood why. But anywho, the thing that he is most well known for,
Unfaithful. Sorry, keep going.
the thing he is most well known for is a rumor that was started that he had a gerbil up his asshole. And
Pardon me?
do you really not know this
No.
rumor? Oh my God, this is look, Google Richard Gere gerbil. This is a fucking legit thing. It's insane.
What? He put a gerbil up his asshole
Yeah,
for
there's
sexual pleasure?
Google Richard Gere. Are you fucking with me right now?
No, I'm not.
This
But
is like the thing that Richard Gere is known for. Maybe this is why audiences don't know what my Richard Gere gerbil joke is about.
gerbil. All right. Richard Gere, not girlfriend. I spelled it wrong.
Oh, there it is. Oh yeah, Sylvester Stallone started the rumor.
He was the whistleblower.
Yeah.
Richard Gere and the gerbil from Snopes right away. Yeah. Also MTV. So, okay. Richard Gere was taken to the hospital to have to the emergency room to have a gerbil removed from his asshole. And a speculum exam reveals bloody stool and a dead gerbil inside of his asshole.
Yep.
Sorry, I never knew about this.
No, and so here's the rumor.
Are you sure he didn't it wasn't on his car seat or something and he just sat
No,
on
man,
it?
it was all for fun, man.
And it just Game of Thrones
Dude,
his
it
way
was
inside
the
of his
90s,
asshole.
bro, or the 80s. I don't know when this.
A lot of
rumor
cocaine
started.
back then.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. But I haven't seen Pretty Woman. I assume it's about the gerbil.
Yeah.
Skip Bayless was so enamored by this whole rumor that he actually went to an underground auction, bought the gerbil, the dead gerbil,
Like the
And-
one that was in his ass.
Yeah, the one that was in Richard Gere's ass, shoved that up his ass, Skip Bayless's ass, his own ass.
I'd like to meet the guy that brought that thing to the black market.
Oh man, Rick.
Rick's my boy.
And then Skip had that gerbil cloned to have shoved up his ass to fish out the dead gerbil. So there's a lot of gerbil action going on in Skip Bayless's asshole these days.
Yeah. I mean, I don't doubt it though. It sounds perfectly
No,
believable.
I mean, you shouldn't doubt it because it's real.
yeah, this
it's-
is verified.
Yeah, this
guys.
is verified, man.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
Check it out. Yeah, this is all legit.
We cite our
Everything-
sources on Doug's Instagram page, so just go there for more.
Yeah. All right. Last little segment. Always my favorite. Ask a little question about Skip Bayless. What do you think Skip Bayless's favorite food is? I know that sounds like a bland topic, but I'm very interested in this.
I'd say based on just the color of his skin, he seems like the kind of guy that just eats the flesh off of rotisserie chicken.
Yeah. Or babies,
Yeah.
small children.
He just peels the skin off of rotisserie chickens and eats that. He's like, I have to eat something with my own consistency.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, it feels like the most. You could go a few directions with it. It's the most basic, boring thing, because I feel like I enjoy horrible foods. I like bad nachos and.
I'm getting a Big Mac as soon as I leave.
Oh
here.
yeah, you get it.
Doug lives 100 feet from McDonald's.
Yeah.
And a Del Taco.
So you got options, but I think Skip has never touched anything fun like that. Like he doesn't know what a Big Mac tastes like.
Big Macs, those things are a blast.
Yeah, they're the best, man.
Yeah.
Oh man,
3 pieces of bread? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me,
Good
son?
God. I bet he doesn't enjoy like even barbecue. Even without the bun. Like
Yeah, he seems like he's like, boil me some chicken and shred it.
Yes. Yeah, he doesn't want pizza. He's never had pizza in his life.
Yeah.
Skip Bayless has never had pizza. That's another rumor. It's a weird rumor, but if you really think about it, he's never had ice cream. He's never had ice cream.
You heard it here first.
He definitely doesn't enjoy treats.
Yeah.
It's just like
If he does eat chocolate, it's on accident.
yeah.
Yeah.
He maybe
Like a dog.
yeah. Then he has diarrhea.
If his wife sees him eat chocolate, she starts slapping him. Don't do that.
Yeah. And you could also go the dark direction that he does eat the flesh of like babies or eats babies in general.
If we're still on the interview with a vampire theme, if the audience is old enough for that, yeah, who knows?
You're really on this interview with the vampire.
I watched it 2 nights ago. It's man, those guys are handsome, huh?
Boy, Mikey turned me on to Swordfish, by the way. Still on Netflix, I believe. If you haven't seen Swordfish, check that shit out. One of the worst, greatest films of all time. Good God.
That was actually...
that would be a great fucking film for Will Kane to reference.
Yeah.
What a great cast and such a fucking... I don't even want to talk shit on that film. It's great.
I was
It's
about to
really
drop a
good.
Swordfish quote, but I don't think anyone would get it.
Yeah, no one
He
would.
lives in a world beyond our world.
Yeah, no one gets that. But they will. They will watch Swordfish after this podcast.
Yeah, really,
and they'll-
guys. If you haven't seen Swordfish, I came over here last week to record the podcast. Then me and Doug ended up staying up till 3 a.m. watching Swordfish and masturbating together.
Oh
So,
man, why wouldn't you?
yeah. With that kind of soul patch,
Whew.
it's not even. It's like a soul trail,
Yeah, John Travolta's got a weird soul patch. It's
which it kind of strikes me as like the kind of facial hair that Skip Bayless would aspire to.
oh god, yeah, he's probably tried to grow that out back in the day.
I couldn't get it thin enough. Yeah. No one knows what we're talking about now.
Yeah, nobody knows what the fuck we're
Watch
talking
Swordfish and then,
Although
then
I am
listen
gonna-
to the podcast.
about. I'm gonna post some videos on my Instagram from Swordfish that are pretty ridiculous. There's a scene in that movie where Hugh Jackman is being tested to see how good of a hacker he is. And this is before anybody really knows what the internet is.
This
And
is also Hugh Jackman's second role after X-Men. So this is like he's still trying to get a little fame. He takes this role right out of X-Men. He's Wolverine. He doesn't know how his career is going. He takes Swordfish. Continue.
Yeah, and he's getting a blowjob while he's trying to hack into a government system, and it is remarkable. It's one of it might be the best scene in cinematic history.
So wait, setting up the. I'm sorry we keep talking about Swordfish, guys, for so long, but I just have to tell you this was one of the last movies to be released pre 9/11. It came out a few weeks before 9/11, and it's like when the internet still was not a thing that people understood. So it's like there's so many fantastic scenes in this movie where they're trying to kind of quantify the internet and like trying to visualize the internet as something, and like there's all this just fantastic terminology in there that is
so
just
good.
just
Like
lazy
the trap box.
just lazy writing. Oh, you got to plant a dragon in the hack codes.
Yeah.
You know, it's like what?
Got to hack into the hawk dragon. Yeah, the fucking yeah.
You got to plant a spine in the peanut. You know, it's like that's a bad one. But yeah,
But check it out. Check out Swordfish. That's our big plug for this week. That's all Mikey wants to plug.
I'm not even gonna give a personal plug. That's just I want y'all to watch Swordfish.
But hey, that's the show. We just want to end it with Swordfish. From now on, that's all we'll end it with. Swordfish.
Yeah, just maybe like the soundtrack of Swordfish.
Interview with the Vampire and Swordfish.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, but Mikey, thanks for being on.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for taking a break from doing audio, even though you still are doing audio, but actually talking.
Oh yeah, I have headphones on. I have a computer in front of me, but now I have a microphone in my face as well.
But yeah, where can people can find you at? Is it at Ayers World?
Yeah,
AYERS.
my name
World.
is Ayers, or that's my last name. Instagram at Ayers World, AYERS World. Otherwise, you can look at Doug's most recent post on his Instagram. He
oh yeah, there you go.
we were at a football game. Actually, I got to tell y'all, this is the end of the podcast. I feel like I got to get this in. The game yesterday was an absolute shit show. I got to set this up real quick before I leave. Doug's running late. We get to the game. My brother and his girlfriend already have their seats. So me and Doug rush to these seats so we can catch the beginning of the first quarter, which we miss, by the way. But when we finally get to our seats, there's like 6 children in between me and Doug and our seats, and these kids are just very lethargic and they don't want to move out of the way at all. So I like shuffle through and accidentally just like knock over all of the food that these kids have purchased. Like
namely French fries.
French fries just everywhere on the floor. And I didn't even notice it happens, but my brother and Doug were like, "Mikey, what the fuck? What are you doing? You just knocked over."
Oh no, I loved it. I thought that kid deserved it. Who the fuck doesn't pick up their French fries when people are stepping over them when there's 6 inches to fucking get by?
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
It's like
that's
an airplane
on you, man.
seating. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that kid fucking had it coming. Fuck that kid.
I knocked over his French fries. I didn't notice. I kind of half-heartedly apologized because, yeah, this kid, instead of standing up, it's like the movie theater rule. Like, you stand up when someone's going past you. You don't just like tuck your knees unless you're like 5 feet tall and like your knees aren't even a thing. But yeah, we squeezed through, finally sat down. We sat down for about 10 minutes and then my brother decided to chug his beer, and in the middle of his chug, he literally sneezed and blew beer out of his nose all over the people in front of us.
Oh, it was brilliant. And this was like, seriously, we've been there for 5 minutes in our seats, and Mikey stepped on a child's French fries, knocked him everywhere, crunched on him.
Not to mention I laughed really hard when I discovered what I had done.
There's no way around it.
Sorry, kid.
And then Christian sneezed on the back of this guy's head and blew beer all. Oh man, it was magnificent. And then I immediately got worried that like, oh, well, now I have to be next. I'm going to do something weird. And then I ended up masturbating into a guy's nachos.
Yeah.
Guy behind me. I came and it shot over my head and into this bucket of nachos.
Even weirder, it was the perfect consistency of yellow nacho cheese.
Oh, man, yeah. Oh, I come nacho cheese.
I guess you must consume a lot of sharp cheddar if you're gonna come
I got
nacho
a cheese cup there, which is a real thing at the Coliseum.
Yeah. That's actually Doug's. That's going to be his new Twitter handle is Cheese Cup from here on out. Anyway, guys, that has been my plug. I guess that was what I want y'all to know about me.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Find Mikey on.
I step on kids' French fries and laugh in their faces. So. And Doug jizzes nacho cheese. So, hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude, thanks,
at
man.
Airs World on Twitter. On Instagram, it's Gatsu14.
I think it's the other way around.
No, it's not.
Oh.
On Twitter, Gatsu. Although I don't use Twitter, so just don't even follow me on there. Y'all fuck yourself.
But yeah, dude, that was awesome. Thanks, man. And as always, rate, subscribe, tell your friends. And hit me up. Peace.
Peace.